Hello Tenno. If you're new to Warframe, one of the first problems you're going to run into is figuring out which weapons are actually worth using. There are a lot of weapons in the game, and not all of them are good early on. Some feel weak, some burn through ammo, and some just don't scale well without the rare mods you don't have yet. In this video, I'm going to show you the best beginner weapons that can actually carry you early, explain how to get them, why they're strong, and when you should think about replacing them. You don't need in-game builds, you don't need ribbons, and you don't need to spend a ton of platinum. These are weapons you can realistically use while progressing through the star chart. The Thornback. Let's start with one of the most underrated early weapons in the game, the Thornback. The Thornback is a free burst fire primary you get early on just by progressing through the story. You don't have to farm it, you don't have to craft it, and it even comes with an Orokin catalyst already installed, which is massive for beginners and something you usually don't see this early. What makes a Thornback so strong early is its consistency. It hits hard for its level, it's accurate, and the burst fire makes it easy to control while conserving ammo. It performs really well against early Grineer and Corpus enemies and doesn't rely on rare mods to feel effective. It's great for early star chart progression, defense and survival missions, players who want a reliable primary without RNG. I actually liked this weapon so much that I made a full in-depth beginner guide on the Thornback, where I go over how it works, a simple early build, and why it can carry you longer than you'd expect. So if you want more detail on this weapon, check out the attached video. Eventually, you'll replace it as enemies start scaling harder, but for the early game, the Thornback absolutely carries. This beginner build carried me through the early game. The Skana. Before we get into AoE weapons, let's talk melee, specifically the Skana. The Skana is either your starting melee weapon or one of the first you'll get, and honestly is way better than people give it credit for. It's fast, easy to use, and scales well with very basic mods. You don't need fancy stances or complex builds to make it work. Early on, melee weapons are extremely strong because enemies don't have much armor yet. The Skana is perfect for clearing groups early and learning melee mechanics. To get the Skana, you just need to buy its blueprint from the market. You'll get enough resources to craft it by progressing through your story. You'll eventually move on to better melee options, but don't sleep on the Skana. It can absolutely carry you until you unlock something stronger. This is a great beginner build for the Skana. The Heck. Once you hit Mastery Rank 4, one of the biggest upgrades you can make is the Heck. The Heck is a shotgun, and it's exactly how you want a shotgun to hit. Massive damage, chunky shots, and excellent single target burst. What makes the Heck so strong early is that it doesn't need crit or complex scaling to feel powerful. Even with basic mods, it deletes tough enemies like Eximus units, heavy gunners, and bosses. The Heck shines in assassination missions, defense missions, and early to mid game content. You can buy the Heck's blueprints from the market at Mastery Rank 4. You'll eventually swap it once you want faster clear speed or AoE damage, but for raw stopping power, the Heck is one of the best beginner primaries in the game. Here is a great beginner build for the Heck. The Atomos. Now, let's talk about one of the best early game weapons period, the Atomos. The Atomos is a chaining beam pistol, meaning it jumps between enemies automatically. You aim at one target and it clears the room for you. This weapon is insane for beginners because it clears groups effortlessly, it doesn't rely on precision, and it scales extremely well with status effects. It's especially good for survival missions, defense missions, and leveling warframes quickly. The Atomos stays relevant far longer than most beginner weapons, and honestly, you could use this well into the mid-game without issues. If you're only going to invest in one secondary early, this is it. The Atomos blueprints can be purchased from the market at Mastery Rank 5. Here are two builds that go great with the Atomos, one for the early game and one for the mid-game. The Soma. The Soma is an automatic rifle that focuses on high fire rate and sustained damage. It's not too flashy, but it's incredibly consistent. This weapon is great for players who like holding the trigger, want a reliable DPS, and prefer traditional gunplay. The Soma really starts to shine once you get some basic crit mods, and it feels smooth to use in longer missions like survival and interception. The blueprint for the Soma can be unlocked at Mastery Rank 6. You'll eventually replace it with stronger crit weapons or prime variants, but as a stepping stone, the Soma is excellent. This crit based beginner build is excellent for the Soma. The Xoris. Finally, let's talk about the weapon that changes everything. The Xoris. The Xoris is a free glaive weapon you get from the Deadlock Protocol quest, and it's one of the strongest early AoE weapons in the entire game. This thing explodes, clears rooms, scales extremely well, and makes leveling Warframes way easier. Once you unlock the Xoris, it often becomes your main weapon, not just your melee. It's perfect for fast leveling, clearing large enemy groups, and farming missions. Many players keep the Xoris far longer than they expect. It's that good. This Xoris build carries me through most missions. When to replace these weapons. As you progress, you'll eventually start unlocking prime weapons, incarnates, and more specialized gear. That's when you'll naturally move on. But here's the key thing to understand. These weapons aren't bad, they just get outclassed. If a weapon still feels good and clears content, there's no rush to replace it. Warframe is about progression, not speedrunning gear upgrades. So those are the best beginner weapons in Warframe that can actually carry you early without requiring insane builds or rare mods. If this helped you out, drop a like, it really helps the channel. If you're new here and want more beginner friendly Warframe guides, consider subscribing. And if there's a weapon that carried you early, let me know in the comments. I'm always keen to check out different setups. Thanks for watching, Tenno, and I'll see you in the next one.